Good morning, Minnesota DFLers, and welcome to the DFL Daily. Richard Carlbom here, chair of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party. We're here each and every day at 10:45, giving you the message, the actions, and the tools to take one more concrete step toward winning big in the 2026 midterm election this November, 95 days from now. All right, lots happening this weekend. I'm going to be everywhere tomorrow. It seems like all over southern Minnesota. So first off, SD30 has a DFL coffee break in St. Michael at 8:30 tomorrow morning. There's a rally for Martha Brown that I will be at in Faribault at 9 a.m. There's the SD35 is hosting a coffee and conversation in Coon Rapids at 9 a.m. Then there's the Neighborhood Coffee Network chat at 9:30 in Apple Valley. In 62, SD62 is doing a coordinated campaign door knock at 10 a.m. The Plymouth area DFL is doing a coffee and conversation at 10 a.m. You can walk with the SD30 team in Hanover Harvest Parade at 11:30. I'm going to be launching a door knock for Mark Legvold at 10:30. And then I'll be launching a door knock with Judy Seeberger, Senator Judy Seeberger in Cottage Grove at noon. Lots happening, so get out there and enjoy it. And then on Sunday, we have the Tall Timbers Parade in Grand Rapids. Lineup starts at 11. We walk at 1 p.m. The Fantastic will be there with First Vice Chair Marge Hoffa. Thank you for going up there and being at Tall Timber Days, one of the biggest celebrations and community festivals in the Northland. So you can find all of these events and more at dfl.org/events. Next week, we'll be at Farm Fest on Tuesday and Wednesday. I think we'll be coming live from Farm Fest on Wednesday for sure, maybe on Tuesday as well. Excited to be down there and talking with farmers and getting all of our candidates. We have, I think, like a dozen or more farmers running this cycle for the legislature, and it's a great opportunity for us to connect. Okay, let's get to today's topic. I want to note that yesterday marked the 61st anniversary of President Lyndon B. Johnson signing Medicare and Medicaid into law. For over 6 decades, these programs have stood for a simple promise. You deserve to see a doctor when you're sick without fear of not being able to afford it. Along with Social Security, these healthcare programs have been some of the most life-saving programs that any country in the history of the world has provided to seniors and those in need. And Republicans must and will be held accountable for ripping away healthcare from those people who need it. And we are, as Democrats, committed to holding Republicans accountable when they try to walk back the healthcare access that we have provided. This week, of course, the Trump administration announced that it is ending Medicare Part D subsidies. This is tragic. This means seniors will pay millions more for prescription drugs, pricing them out of life-saving medicine in some cases. Anyone that hasn't been affected by Republicans' healthcare cut, this healthcare crisis caused by Republican choices, yet will soon feel it in their budgets. I alluded to this yesterday, but we're having thousands of conversations at the doors. Over the last several months in 2026 alone, the DFL and our allied organizations have knocked on more than 708,000 doors across the state. Those are thousands of very real conversations happening at the doorstep of in our communities in Minnesota. And people are talking and we are listening. In rural places, in urban places, in places like the 1st District and the 8th District, the 6th District, but also Minneapolis, St. Paul, the 4th and 5th, the 3rd and the 2nd, all over Minnesota, people are talking about healthcare. It's one of the number one topics that legislators are hearing about and our candidates running for the legislature are hearing about. And it's certainly one of the main topics, healthcare affordability, that our organizers and our volunteers with the coordinated campaign are hearing about. They're worried about their coverage. They're worried about skipping the doctor's office, but they're just as worried about paying to go to the doctor's office. These are not folks looking for people taking a simple stand. They want someone with a plan, someone to stand by their side, stand with them, and fight with them for their access to healthcare. That's why we're going to win in November, because we have produced a plan. We are showing them how we plan to stand with them and fight with them for greater healthcare access. Minnesotans trust Democrats on healthcare. While Republicans keep fighting for new ways to further break our healthcare system, Democrats fight to make it more affordable. And let's just review again what they have done, what Republicans have done to healthcare. Every single Minnesota Republican in Congress, Brad Finstad, Tom Emmer, Michelle Fischbach, and Pete Stauber, backed the biggest cuts to healthcare in American history. Their votes alone put 210,000 Minnesotans at risk of losing their healthcare coverage. They also voted to take away Affordable Care Act tax credits, driving up premiums for 91,000 Minnesotans by probably about $363 per month each. Increases that many families simply can't afford, and so they go without health care. Now, seniors risk being priced out of their prescription drugs with the gutting of Medicare Part D. This is following a very simple pattern that we can all see plain as day. Working families paying more and getting less health care, while Republican donors getting more tax cuts, as many tax cuts as they can. That's not an accident. It's a choice. Not a choice that Brad Finstad, Tom Emmer, Fischbach, and Stauber made just one time. They're voting for it repeatedly, over and over again. But it's also a choice they make every day as they stand with Donald Trump again and again, while neglecting the communities who elected them to serve. When they make a choice, they stand with Donald Trump. They do not stand with Minnesotans. Here's how I want to end this week's message. Minnesotans have another choice. Our DFL candidates have plans to make your health care more affordable. Yes, to undo the damage Republicans have done, but more importantly, to move Minnesota forward. Senator Amy Klobuchar last weekend put out her health care plan, and then the Minnesota House and Senate Democrats put out their commitment to Minnesotans when it comes to having a plan for health care as well. Every child, every family should have access to primary care. Every senior should be able to afford their medicine. Every person should be able to see a doctor when they're sick without losing everything they've worked so hard for. That's the contrast that we know is so impactful at the doors because we're having those conversations. Republicans protect the powerful, Democrats fight for the people doing the work. So, with 708,000 doors down, let's hit the next 708,000 and focus on how we will move Minnesota forward. Let's share our plan. Let's hear from our neighbors. Let's listen to them and understand the anxiety they face with the costs that continue to increase. And then let's share the good news with them that Democrats actually have a plan that they can count on. That's why we keep showing up. That's why we keep showing up to work with Minnesotans, alongside Minnesotans, and for Minnesotans. Thanks for everything you're all doing. Thank you for every conversation you're having. And I can't wait to continue this conversation. We're going to continue to emphasize how Democrats have a plan to bring down costs and Republican choices, not inflation. Republican choices are driving up healthcare costs, are driving up housing costs, childcare costs, groceries, gas, everything across the board. Republican choices are driving those up. So this weekend, we want you to drop into one conversation. Make sure that you are hitting the door, sign up for a door knock, bring a friend with you, door knock with a friend. It's going to be a little bit nicer this weekend. I hope you are out and about and you bring friends with you so that we can continue these conversations. We can't go on as business as usual. The moment requires all of us to roll up our sleeves, find a higher gear, and get out there and listen to our neighbors. Every conversation is also a chance to recruit someone new into this work and spread the word about what Democrats will do, what our plan is to actually lower costs for Minnesotans. Thank you, everybody, for being with us this week. We'll be back here Monday morning at 10:45 for another Minnesota Daily Call. And we've got 95 days until the November 3rd midterm election. Let's go win this thing. Thanks, everybody.